Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today for another fluid art creation. So today I'm doing a reversed Dutch pour. You're probably thinking, what does he mean by that? So I will talk to you about the process as I go. But basically with a traditional Dutch pour, you would do a base coat and then layer some paints on top and then blow the creation out. This time I'm layering the paints on the base of the canvas and then adding my base colour completely over the top of all those paints and then blowing it out. I'm using a transparent base, so we'll see how those paints react with that base colour. I'll take you down to see the canvas, to see all the colours, and I'm really excited for this. So let's see what we can create. Okay, so my canvas is a traditional size canvas, so a thin edge canvas. This is a 24 by 18 inch canvas. They're already on my cups ready to go. Here's my colour palette. So this here is going to be what I would have as the base colour, but that's going to go on last, so it's like a reverse Dutch pour. These are all the colours here that I'm going to add to the canvas. So we've got a gold, we've got a Payne's grey, we've got a Prussian blue, we've got a turquoise phthalo, and we have a cobalt blue. So they're my colours. That's going to be the colour that goes totally over the top. I just love that. Can you see that? That colour there. And as you can see, it's very thin. It runs off the spatula and disappears into the mixture. All of my paints will be listed in the description box below, but in terms of ratios, each paint, no matter what their brand is for this creation, is 1 part paint to 1 part water. So that's my ratio. As I say, I will list everything in the description box. Let's go. So I'm going to start with the colours that I would normally place over the top of a base coat. But because this is a reverse Dutch pour, I'm going to start with the colours and then add the base coat on top of those colours and blow it out. That's the whole concept with the reversed Dutch pour. So I'm going to take one colour at a time and place those colours on the canvas. And you can see here I'm just adding lines, but I'm going to leave a gap in the middle because that's where I'm going to pour the base coat, just here, and then blow all that base coat over the colours that I'm layering. So again, I'm just taking one colour at a time and placing lines of colour on the canvas. So I'm now going to add the gold, and this gold I'm just going to add in between these two lines here on this side, and then between the two lines here on this side. And as I blow those out, I'm hoping that's going to create a little bit of depth because it's a completely different colour to the other tones that I've got on my canvas. So again, I'm just taking one colour at a time and placing those colours onto the canvas. So now for the base coat, and I'm going to place this directly in the middle of the canvas along here and then blow it out. So I've got more of this colour, and something that you need to really consider when using different colours like this, I know from experience this colour is going to dry quite dark. In fact, it's going to dry really dark. So that's why I wanted those other colours, including that gold, because it's going to help lighten some of the tones as it's blown across the canvas. I'm using my torch, and I'm using my torch in this creation to pop any air bubbles. So when I mix my paint with water, or even when I use a pouring medium, by mixing the paint round and round is adding air into that paint. So I'm going to blow out the middle to the outer edges. You can see here, this is how it looks. I've got that green in the middle, which would normally be my base coat, and then the colours either side. So I'm going to take my hairdryer. It's on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed, and I'm now just going to take my time working from the middle, blowing to the outer edge and allowing that paint to go down the sides and down the edges. And I'm going to continue that process until the full surface area of the canvas is covered. I'm really loving the effect this is having, and if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about. Let me know about the colours I'm also using, and remember, I really want you to stay tuned because the colour that I'm using as my base coat, all that colour that's in the middle that I'm blowing over the top of those other colours, is going to dry a lot darker, so it's going to probably look totally different. And that's something to consider when using different colours. Think about how they look when they're wet and then how they look when they're dry, because some colours, and I find mainly the blues and the greens, will change that tone and that colour. So just think about that when you're devising your own colour palette, how those colours might also dry. Once I've blown the paints out, I just do a few tweaks just to make sure that I've got good consistent coverage. And in a second, I will go lower and have a look with my eye just to have a look across that base, to have a look if there's any puddles of paint across that canvas. By doing that, I'm just checking to see if I've got good coverage throughout the canvas. Because if I have deeper puddles of paint in certain areas, it means that the paint will probably dry at a different rate, and that can also affect the drying process in terms of cracking with the paint and the overall look. So I'm just tweaking the edges, just going over some of those sides and ensuring that the paint isn't puddled too deep in certain areas. Okay, I'm so happy with how this looks, and yep, let's give it a thumbs up. I'm going to take you in now for a closer look at the wet version. I'll of course set this to one side on my drying table, allow the paint to dry. Now creations like this will take a couple of days to dry, to touch, but a good couple of weeks to fully cure. You want to ensure that your paints and your canvas are properly dry before you cover it either in resin or a varnish. And that's exactly what I do. I allow a good few weeks between the creation process and the drying process before I varnish any piece. And when I do varnish, I always use a Winsor & Newton gloss spray varnish. I feel that that's the varnish, that's my go-to varnish, and that's the varnish that works well for me. So there's the dry version, and you can see I was talking how that green's going to dry a lot darker, and you can see here how it is a lot darker. But that gold, that lighter green, and that blue really help those edges pop, and I'm so happy with the overall effect. I'll leave you now with all the details. Expand that box just down below from the video. Have a look at all my information in there, including all the paint brands and all my ratios, and there's some more information in there too which might help you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're well, I hope your creativity is flowing, and I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care everyone, and have a great week ahead, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.